So you picked up or you're thinking about picking up Libra from STL Tones and you want to know how to use it in your own production so you can get that ultimate guitar tone glory. By the end of this video, you'll know how to do just that. But before we start, in the comments below, let me know what are some of your favorite impulse response loaders that you use in your own productions. Now, let's get into it. All right, so in Pro Tools, I have an instance of Libra pulled up on 2 rhythm guitar tracks in this particular mix. We'll see there are 3 different instances that I'll get into in a sec. Let's take a look at the layout. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You have up to 8 different speaker configurations if you choose to have that many impulse responses, and you just use the sub menu right here to select which impulses you want. So there's a lot of impulse response loaders out there, and granted, a lot of them are really good. But what sets Libra apart, in my opinion, to all those is that you can have 8 different speaker configurations with independent control. As you bring in different impulse responses, it will automatically check the phase and sample rate and automatically tune those in for you. So what does that mean? Let's say you have 2 that are 44.1 that you've collected, another 2 that are 96K, 4 of them are 48K, and you bring them in. Libra is going to automatically check the phase alignment with all of those and adjust it for you automatically, and it will also check the sample rate and configure the sample rate so they all work in unison together so you don't have to worry about that. What makes this so great is when it comes to guitar tones, a lot of it is going to be at the cabinet section. Majority of that character, that tone that so many of us love in guitar, is coming from the combination of the head and the cabinet. And what's really cool is that if you can have a cabinet impulse response that's great for your whole production, you can swap out the heads and you can get something that lives in a similar ballpark, but the mojo, that glue, is still there with the guitar tones. So I have 7 different impulse responses in here that I set up. What I'm going to do is set an example of what makes this so great is I love any type of impulse response loader that allows me to move and configure the tone to whatever section I'm in or the whole mix. So I have the freedom to make the creative choices for myself. Whereas other impulse response loaders, you can load up to 1 to 2, maybe 4, but you're really limited and you have that picture and that's it. This allows me to paint any picture that I want based on whatever samples, and I can change a different sample here, a different sample there to come up with very unique tones. So essentially, you can take 8 different impulse responses and create 1 impulse response based on what's coming out of the output that's unique to the song, the production, etc. If you've gotten this far and enjoyed the video, do me a favor and boop that like button below for the almighty YouTube algorithm. I'd greatly appreciate it. And with that said, now let's dial in some guitar tones with Libra in a mix. All right, so in Pro Tools, we have this mix that has your standard intro, verse, chorus, a breakdown, and then like an outro. And I'm gonna use Libra how I do in all my productions and how I prefer to work, and that's being able to move the microphone, the digital microphone, around with all these impulse responses to find the tone that we want. So for the sake of example, before we get started, I'm gonna move this dot around so you can hear in real time how I can get different blends of tones based on the IRs I've already pre-selected and blending them in based on where I move that virtual microphone. So what I'm going to do now is play the track all together with these intro guitars to try to find a sweet spot where I have a big, huge guitar wall sound. It's not too crunchy. It's just kind of more of a pad type sound, but it's still present in wide. Cool, that sounds good to me. Let's go to the verse part now and see if that's gonna work for the verse. Alright, so right here I can already tell that works for the intro part. For the verse, when the vocal comes in, I'm going to want something a little bit attacky sound. Let's go to this instance and see what we can get right around here. Cool. So we moved it a little bit closer to this 57 on axis sound. Check out this chorus, see if it works here. I kind of want something a little different here. So let's turn this on and see what we can come up with. right, so we have an intro, a verse, and a chorus. And what I'm gonna do real fast is I'm going to automate those instances, so speed run. Fantastic. So I automated the intro to the first verse to the first chorus back into the little break before the second verse. So let's take a listen to how changing those IRs for each part makes the guitar tone sound so much bigger, and we didn't have to use extra EQ or anything. We just used the same impulses but made them slightly different for each part so that they stand out on their own. If you liked this video, you'll enjoy the other videos that we have in this series on STL Tones plugins, so be sure to click on that playlist and I'll see you in the next video.